Have you ever wondered why some foods seem to agree with you while others leave you feeling sluggish or uncomfortable? If you've ever felt frustrated after eating a snack that didn't sit well, you're not alone. Many seniors experience this, especially when it comes to nuts, a food often praised for its health benefits. But here's something most people don't realize. Pairing nuts with certain foods can actually do more harm than good. Now before we dive in, let me share a quick story. A friend of mine named Margaret used to love snacking on almonds with her morning coffee. She thought she was doing everything right. Nuts are packed with healthy fats and nutrients, after all. But over time, she started noticing bloating and indigestion that just wouldn't go away. It wasn't until she learned about how certain food combinations affect digestion that she made a small change and saw amazing results. Here's where science comes in. Researchers have found that the way we combine foods can significantly impact our digestion, nutrient absorption, and even energy levels. For example, nuts are rich in protein and healthy fats, but they also contain compounds like phytic acid, which can interfere with the absorption of certain minerals if paired incorrectly. This means that while nuts are incredibly nutritious, eating them with the wrong foods might lead to discomfort, or worse, rob your body of essential nutrients. In today's video, we're going to uncover the truth about 4 specific foods you should think twice about pairing with nuts, and why it matters for your health as you age. And trust me, you'll want to stick around until the end because the last tip might surprise you and could make all the difference in how you feel after meals. Before we begin, I want to make one thing clear. This video is for informational purposes only and is based on publicly available research. Everyone's health is different, so always consult your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your lifestyle, diet, or exercise routine. Scientific knowledge is always evolving, and what works for one person may not work for another. Let's start with the first combination to watch out for: nuts and dairy. Now, you might be thinking, what's wrong with adding a handful of almonds to my yogurt? On the surface, it seems like a perfectly healthy snack. But here's the catch. Both nuts and dairy are high in fat and protein, which take longer to digest. When combined, they can slow down your digestive system even further, potentially leading to bloating, gas, or that heavy feeling in your stomach. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition highlights how combining too many high-fat or high-protein foods at once can overwhelm your digestive enzymes, especially as we age. Our bodies naturally produce fewer enzymes as we get older, making it harder to break down these dense combinations. Instead of enjoying the nutritional benefits of both foods, you might end up feeling sluggish instead. So what's the solution? If you're craving nuts and dairy together, try spacing them out throughout the day. For example, enjoy a serving of plain yogurt in the morning, and save your handful of almonds for an afternoon snack. This gives your body time to process each food separately, reducing the risk of digestive discomfort. I'll share another example. A man named Robert told me he used to eat peanut butter on whole grain toast with a glass of milk every evening. He loved the combination, but he often felt bloated afterward. Once he switched to spreading almond butter on apple slices instead, he noticed a huge improvement. His stomach felt lighter, and he had more energy during the day. Small changes like this can make a big difference in how you feel. Now let's talk about why this matters specifically for seniors. As we age, our digestive systems become less efficient, and issues like acid reflux, constipation, or lactose intolerance become more common. Pairing nuts with hard-to-digest foods like dairy can exacerbate these problems, leaving you feeling unwell instead of nourished. By being mindful of how you combine foods, you can support your digestion and enjoy meals without discomfort. You might be wondering, what if I already eat nuts with dairy and haven't noticed any issues? That's great. Not everyone will experience problems with these combinations, but it's still worth paying attention to how your body responds. Sometimes symptoms like fatigue or mild bloating can sneak up on us without realizing their connection to food choices. Now that we've covered the first food combination to avoid, let's move on to another pairing that might be sabotaging your efforts to stay healthy. Let's talk about nuts and sugary snacks. Now that we've covered the potential pitfalls of pairing nuts with dairy, let's move on to another combination that might be sabotaging your health goals: nuts and sugary snacks. At first glance, this duo might seem harmless or even appealing. Think trail mix loaded with chocolate chips or a handful of candied almonds as an afternoon treat. But here's the thing. Combining nuts with sugar can create a recipe for blood sugar spikes and crashes that leave you feeling worse than before. Nuts are packed with healthy fats, protein, and fiber, which help stabilize blood sugar levels and keep you feeling full longer. However, when you mix them with refined sugars, like those found in candy, syrup, or sweetened dried fruits, the benefits of nuts can quickly get overshadowed. Sugar digests rapidly, causing a sharp rise in blood glucose followed by a sudden drop. This roller coaster effect not only leaves you fatigued, but can also strain your body's ability to regulate insulin over time, increasing the risk of type 2 diabetes, a growing concern among seniors. A study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition highlights how high-sugar diets combined with fatty foods can impair metabolic health, especially in older adults whose bodies may already struggle with insulin sensitivity. The researchers emphasized that swapping sugary additions for whole food alternatives, like fresh fruit or unsweetened coconut flakes, can make a world of difference. So instead of reaching for that bag of chocolate-covered peanuts, consider pairing your nuts with something naturally sweet, like apple slices or berries. Let me share a story with you. A woman named Linda used to love snacking on store-bought trail mix filled with M&Ms and yogurt-covered raisins. She thought she was making a healthy choice because the mix contained almonds and cashews. But after noticing frequent energy slumps and cravings for more sweets later in the day, she decided to experiment. She swapped her sugary trail mix for one made with raw nuts, unsweetened dried cranberries, and dark chocolate chips, used sparingly. Within weeks, she noticed she had steadier energy levels and fewer cravings throughout the day. It was such a simple swap, but it transformed how she felt. Now, some of you might be thinking, but what if I just eat smaller portions? While portion control is always a good idea, the type of food still matters. Even small amounts of added sugar can disrupt your blood sugar balance when paired with slow-digesting fats and proteins like those found in nuts. Instead of trying to limit yourself, focus on upgrading your choices. For example, try sprinkling plain almonds over a bowl of oatmeal with banana slices instead of grabbing a pre-packaged snack bar loaded with added sugars. Speaking of mindful swaps, let's talk about why this matters specifically for seniors. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at processing sugar, and conditions like prediabetes or insulin resistance become more common. Pairing nuts with sugary snacks doesn't just sabotage your short-term energy, it could contribute to long-term health risks. On the flip side, choosing low glycemic pairings helps maintain stable blood sugar levels, supporting both physical and mental well-being. Now let's shift gears slightly and address another surprising culprit: nuts and processed grains. You might enjoy spreading almond butter on toast or tossing walnuts into pasta dishes, but not all grain-based foods are created equal. Processed grains, like white bread, crackers, or pastries, are stripped of their fiber and nutrients during manufacturing. When paired with nuts, they can lead to digestive issues and nutrient imbalances. Here's why. Nuts are rich in magnesium, zinc, and other essential minerals, but phytic acid, a compound found in both nuts and refined grains, can bind to these minerals, preventing your body from absorbing them fully. Over time, this can lead to deficiencies that affect everything from bone health to immune function. A study published in Nutrients found that diets high in processed grains combined with foods containing phytic acid were linked to lower mineral absorption rates, particularly in older adults. So what's the solution? Opt for whole grain options whenever possible. Swap white bread for sprouted grain bread, or replace regular pasta with whole wheat or legume-based varieties. These changes not only enhance nutrient absorption, but also provide additional fiber to support gut health, a critical factor for seniors who often experience slower digestion. I'll share another quick example. A gentleman named James loved having peanut butter sandwiches for lunch. He switched from white bread to a hearty whole grain loaf and noticed a significant improvement. Not only did he feel less bloated, but he also had more sustained energy throughout the afternoon. Sometimes, small tweaks like this can yield big results. Before we move on, let's recap why avoiding these combinations matters. Pairing nuts with sugary snacks or processed grains can strain your metabolism, disrupt blood sugar regulation, and hinder nutrient absorption. all things that become increasingly important as we age. By making smarter choices, you're setting yourself up for better digestion, improved energy, and overall vitality. Now that we've explored 2 key combinations to avoid, let's turn our attention to another pairing that might surprise you. Let's talk about nuts and red meat. Now that we've explored the challenges of pairing nuts with sugary snacks and processed grains, let's turn our attention to another surprising combination that might be undermining your health: nuts and red meat. At first glance, this pairing might seem like a hearty, protein-packed meal. Think about dishes like steak topped with crushed pistachios or a lamb dish garnished with toasted almonds. While they sound delicious, combining nuts with red meat can place an unnecessary burden on your digestive system and potentially increase inflammation in the body. Here's why. Both nuts and red meat are rich in fats and proteins, which require significant energy to digest. When eaten together, they can overwhelm your digestive enzymes, leading to bloating, sluggishness, or even discomfort. Additionally, red meat is often high in saturated fats and compounds like nitrates, which have been linked to increased inflammation when consumed in excess. Pairing it with nuts, especially those roasted in oils or seasoned with salt, can amplify these effects, making it harder for your body to process everything efficiently. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition highlights how diets high in animal-based proteins, combined with dense plant-based fats, can elevate markers of inflammation, particularly in older adults. Chronic inflammation is a known contributor to conditions like arthritis, heart disease, and cognitive decline, all of which become more prevalent as we age. By avoiding heavy combinations like nuts and red meat, you're giving your body a better chance to manage inflammation and maintain overall wellness. Let me share an example. A man named Paul used to love grilling burgers topped with chopped pecans for added crunch. He thought he was adding a healthy twist to his meals, but over time, he noticed he felt sluggish and occasionally experienced joint pain after eating them. Once he switched to simpler pairings, like serving grilled chicken with a side of mixed nuts or sprinkling walnuts over a salad, he noticed a marked improvement. His energy levels stabilized and the itchiness subsided. It was such a small change, but it made all the difference. Now, some of you might be wondering, what if I only eat these combinations occasionally? That's a valid point. Moderation is key, and indulging once in a while isn't likely to cause major issues. However, as we age, our bodies become less forgiving of dietary excesses. Even occasional heavy meals can contribute to long-term inflammation or digestive strain. Instead of focusing solely on frequency, consider the quality of your food choices. For instance, if you're craving protein and crunch, try swapping red meat for leaner options like turkey or fish paired with raw nuts. These alternatives are easier on your system, while still satisfying your taste buds. Speaking of mindful swaps, let's talk about one final pairing that many people overlook: nuts and alcohol. Whether it's a handful of peanuts at happy hour or cashews served alongside wine during dinner, this combination is more common than you might think, and more problematic than it appears. Alcohol, especially in excess, can irritate the lining of your stomach and impair liver function. When paired with nuts, which are calorie-dense and sometimes heavily salted, it can lead to dehydration, bloating, and even elevated blood pressure. Research from the American Heart Association emphasizes how excessive sodium intake, often found in salted nuts, combined with alcohol consumption can exacerbate hypertension, a condition that affects nearly 2/3 of seniors. This doesn't mean you need to avoid social gatherings altogether. Instead, focus on moderation and smarter choices. Opt for unsalted nuts, drink plenty of water alongside alcohol, and limit your portions to keep the experience enjoyable without the unpleasant side effects. I'll share another story with you. A woman named Carol loved her evening ritual of enjoying a glass of wine with a bowl of salted almonds. She noticed she often woke up feeling dehydrated and puffy, especially around her ankles. Once she switched to unsalted pistachios and reduced her wine intake to 1 glass, she felt refreshed and more comfortable the next morning. Making these adjustments allowed her to continue her ritual without sacrificing her well-being. Now, let's take a step back and address some of the challenges seniors face when trying to adopt healthier eating habits. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by all the information out there, or discouraged if you slip up occasionally. But here's the truth: aging doesn't mean perfection, it means progress. If you struggle with portion control or remembering which foods to pair, start small. Keep a journal to track how different combinations make you feel, or enlist the help of a friend or family member who shares your goals. There's no shame in seeking support. It's one of the best ways to stay motivated. And remember, staying socially engaged plays a big role in maintaining motivation. Research shows that seniors who cook or eat meals with others tend to make healthier choices and enjoy their food more. So whether it's hosting a potluck, joining a community group, or simply sharing a meal with a loved one, nurturing your relationships can inspire you to prioritize your own well-being. Here's a powerful fact to leave you with. A study from Johns Hopkins University found that adopting just one new dietary habit, like improving food pairings, can significantly reduce the risk of chronic diseases and improve quality of life. It's proof that small changes add up over time, creating a ripple effect that benefits your physical and emotional health. Now that you have all these tools and insights, let's wrap things up with some final words of motivation and a simple challenge you can start today. Because at the end of the day, aging doesn't mean losing control of your health. It means taking charge of it in smarter, more intentional ways. Now that we've explored the potential pitfalls of pairing nuts with dairy, sugary snacks, processed grains, red meat, and alcohol, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. These combinations might seem harmless, or even healthy, at first glance, but they can have unintended consequences for your digestion, energy levels, and overall well-being, especially as you age. The good news is that small changes in how you pair foods can make a big difference in how you feel every day. Let's recap why these food pairings matter so much. Pairing nuts with dairy can overwhelm your digestive system, leading to bloating and discomfort. Combining nuts with sugary snacks or processed grains can spike your blood sugar and hinder nutrient absorption, leaving you feeling fatigued and potentially contributing to long-term health risks. Adding nuts to red meat creates a heavy meal that strains your body's ability to manage inflammation, while mixing them with alcohol can lead to dehydration and elevated blood pressure. Each of these combinations highlights the importance of being mindful about how you fuel your body. But here's the thing, knowledge is only powerful when it's put into action. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Start small. Maybe it's swapping sugary trail mix for one made with unsweetened dried fruit, or replacing white bread with whole grain options when enjoying nut butter. Over time, these little adjustments add up, creating habits that support your health in meaningful ways. Experts agree that consistency is key when it comes to dietary choices. Even one thoughtful swap per day can improve how you feel and set the stage for better long-term outcomes. I want to leave you with a story that illustrates just how transformative mindful eating can be. A woman named Evelyn once told me she decided to pay closer attention to her food pairings after years of dismissing her digestive issues as just part of aging. She started by making simple changes, like eating plain yogurt instead of flavored varieties with her nuts, and skipping the sugary granola bars in favor of raw almonds with fresh fruit. Within weeks, she noticed she had more energy, fewer stomach aches, and an overall sense of lightness she hadn't felt in years. She said to me, "It wasn't about perfection, it was about progress. I realized that taking care of myself didn't have to be overwhelming, it just had to be consistent." Now, some of you might still be thinking, what if I forget or fall behind? That's okay. Life happens, and no one expects you to be perfect. The goal isn't perfection, it's improvement. If you slip up, simply pick up where you left off the next day. And don't hesitate to enlist the help of loved ones or caregivers if you need support. Remember, you're never alone in this journey. Let's talk about mindset for a moment. As we age, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, "It's too late for me to make a difference." But science shows us that it's never too late to start making healthier choices. A study published in The Lancet found that adopting even one new healthy habit later in life, like improving food pairings, can significantly increase lifespan and enhance quality of life. So whether you're 60, 70, 80, or beyond, every positive step you take matters. Another important aspect of aging well is staying socially engaged. Did you know that loneliness can have a profound impact on both mental and physical health? Studies suggest that maintaining strong social connections reduces the risk of depression, anxiety, and even chronic diseases. While we've been talking about nutrition today, don't forget to nourish your relationships too. Share these tips with a friend or family member, or invite someone over for a meal while you practice your new food pairings together. These moments of connection are just as vital as the habits themselves. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these food pairings resonated most with you? Are there any changes you're excited to try first? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one, and your thoughts might inspire others who are looking for ideas. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips on healthy aging. Sharing this video with a loved one could also be a wonderful way to spread the message of vitality and self-care. Finally, I want to remind you of something important. Aging doesn't mean losing control of your health. It means taking charge of it in smarter, more intentional ways. Every day is a new opportunity to nourish your body, nurture your mind, and connect with the people and activities that bring you joy. Whether it's through mindful eating, staying active, or simply smiling at someone you love, you have the power to shape your own journey. So here's to living your best life at any age, and to embracing the small, meaningful steps that lead to big results. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until next time, take care, stay curious, and remember, small actions lead to lasting change. Here's to your health.